Um, Florida at Kentucky. Florida at Kentucky. So Kentucky, I guess probably unless you're a Kentucky fan or a fan of a team that Kentucky has played, you haven't probably. I mean, most people haven't watched Kentucky this year.
Yeah,
Haven't
I'm
really.
guilty.
Uh,
I'm guilty.
well, I mean, who wants to watch Kentucky against Eastern Kentucky or
Yeah,
Western Kentucky or whoever the heck they've even been playing? I mean, it's been a bunch of no name teams. They played Vandy last week. Um, and Vandy scored a few more points on them than what I would have liked to have seen
yeah.
for a Kentucky team. I I'm interested to see how this Kentucky team handles this Florida defense. Um, let's pull up some stats because we're gonna need some help. Uh, we're gonna need some help this week. So looking at scoring offense, this is pretty decent numbers. But as we said, Kentucky hasn't played anybody. I mean, they haven't flat out played anybody. So I expect these numbers to settle down. Um, Defensively, pretty good Russian defense. Scoring wise, pretty decent. Third down conversion, not good. Sacks allowed is good. Sacks gained is good. Um, so all in all, pretty decent numbers for Kentucky. But what can we really take from that? Turnover margin, I think we can take something from that. They're +1, and that's good. Got to be even or +1. Florida, on the other hand, these offensive numbers are pretty woeful, huh?
Yep.
Pretty bad, pretty bad stuff going on in Gainesville with the offense, and I know Florida Gators fans are kind of wiggling in their seat. But you know what? They're fresh off a couple wins, and a couple wins can do a lot for your confidence. I know Billy Napier needed it. Defensively, this is a good Florida team. Pretty much have seen that every week. It's the offense that you know that kind of struggles week in and week out. But that's a Billy Napier team, man. They're run the football and stop the run type of football team, and I think that is a good way to start building a program. But it can also be a slow way to build a program because you got to have the Jimmies and Joes on the line of scrimmage to make it happen. Florida's offensive line is not that great this year. It's going to be interesting to see the physical battle that goes on in the trenches in this game because whichever team can win that battle is going to win this game. And whichever we said it a couple weeks ago too. Florida can't turn the ball over. If Florida turns the ball over, they'll lose Saturday. This offense is not good enough to be inefficient and to give the other team extra chances and give away chances of scoring. So if Kentucky gets just 2 turnovers, they will win this game and they will cover this spread and it won't be a problem. If Florida can protect the ball, this is going to be a very close game and Vegas will have picked it right. But this is my money line pick of the week. I'm taking Florida on the money line. Mason, what do you got on this game?
I think you nailed it. Obviously this is going to be a pretty close game, regardless of any turnovers or anything like that. I don't think anybody's going to march away with
No,
a 14-point win or a 3-score win or anything like that,
no.
right? I just don't see it. I haven't seen enough out of Kentucky to say that, you know, granted, I mean, they're undefeated,
Yeah.
they have found ways to win against lesser talent, right? But whenever I break this down, I look at it and say, all right, what are these teams good at? Where are they lacking? You can make an argument for Kentucky, um, you know, being a better team statistically, if you just look at the numbers that I've presented in front of you here, you can say Kentucky looks like a much better team on paper. However, Kentucky didn't face Utah week 1,
Yeah.
right? That's a big difference. Like
Yeah.
that's a huge difference. So it doesn't mean you can just throw the numbers out, but I think that we can at least put an asterisk on all of these numbers in a way. And so it makes it a little bit tough to read, in my opinion. One thing that does stand out, though, is that Kentucky's only allowed 4 sacks. So they've been pretty solid up front, which is a big turnaround from last season where, it seemed like they were getting, sacked left and right. I mean, Good gosh, it seemed like their quarterback. His name's escaping me right now, but he's running for his life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And couldn't get that NFL talented arm, and put it to use. And outside of that, he didn't really have the weapon. So I'm excited to watch this game. Like I said, I haven't actually sat down and watched a Kentucky game live. I've kept up with their highlights and things like that, but this will be the first time I'm actually sitting down to watch them. I lean a little bit more towards Kentucky. I'm not going to pick them as a best bet, but again, when you break this down statistically on defense, it tells me that both teams are pretty good on defense,
Yeah.
right? So I feel pretty confident, and Vegas obviously knows that, right? Which is why the over under set as low as 44.
It's like an NFL game.
Right. But I feel confident that they're going to go even below that. I think that we're going to see Kentucky struggle on offense a pretty good bit. And I think that this is going to end up being like an 18-21 type win.
Yeah.
For one team or the other. That's probably the best outcome that I can foresee coming. And you mentioned it. Look, Florida's -3 in the turnover margin. And you mentioned Kentucky being at +1. Florida's got to protect the ball better.
Yep.
They've done it the past couple of weeks, and it's led to a couple of wins. So let's see if they can continue with that. If they do, maybe Kentucky has their hands full with this one. But I can see this game being a pick 'em. But give me under 44 points for my best bet for this game.
All right. Under 44. All right. Let's keep it moving